Hey guys, Johnny Disc Golf here, coming to you from my bedroom on day 50 of the stoppage of the disc golf season, and I am joined today with a man coming all the way from Finland, Mr. Seppo Paju. How you doing, buddy?
Doing very good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, absolutely, man. I've finally got the bedroom studio a little bit more dialed in, so I can do these Zoom interviews. But really, dude, first question. I know how it's been here in the States. How is this whole thing playing out for you over in Finland?
I I think it's mostly similar as it's there, but
Mm-hmm.
we don't have Finland really locked places down. All the fields or the sporting facilities. They even closed the main city or the capital city of Finland and didn't let anybody get out of the city.
Mm.
And
When
yeah, we are doing very good in. We really don't have any dead people.
that's
So
always good.
yeah, I think that's pretty good. But yeah, I think we're doing pretty good with it.
That's awesome. What has it been like, like from the disc golf standpoint? Have you actually been able to play, practice? I know you've probably got a bit of property where you live. How's it been disc golf wise?
Well, at first, when PDGA recommended people not to go to play disc golf courses, I did that for probably almost a month. That I
Mm-hmm.
didn't go to a single disc golf course. But then I thought about it to myself, and I was like, if I go there by myself or with one or two friends and just keep distance, I think it's totally okay for me to go to a disc golf course. So
Mm-hmm.
recently, I have been going to more courses, but mostly by myself or with one or two friends or with my girlfriend. And I've been playing on the yard a lot.
When you have been going to courses, is it just like for? I mean, at this point, is just for fun, or are you still like training for the season? Where's your mindset with that?
My mindset was for the season still about 2 weeks ago, but about 2 weeks ago, I started really realizing that the season is basically over or the season is not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I have kind of started to slow down a little bit. I've been starting to do a little bit more other work like course designing and
Mm-hmm.
more videos. I still practice every day, so I'm still focused on disc golf, but just slowing down a little bit because there is no reason to go as hard
Mm-hmm.
at the moment. But yeah, I'm totally still trying to practice and also keep it fun.
Yeah, I had an interview actually a little bit earlier this morning with Jeff Spring, and we talked, at length about what the season might look like if we can push forward. He is obviously, the head of the pro tour. He's got a very he wants this thing to get started. Um, if the season does get started and there's like, you got to stay this far away from people. I mean, at this point, international travel, I don't even think is open. So for you to come
No.
here isn't even allowed. But like, if we do get the season started and Portland Open happens and maybe some of the East Coast events, is that something you'd consider coming over to the States for?
No, I have pretty much given up on that for this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not going to be worth it because even if I got the travel there, I would probably have to be in quarantine for 2 weeks in the hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm I have given up on that for real. Like I'm not going to be in the U.S. or probably any country all season. I'll only play in Finland if there is any tournaments happening even here.
It honestly hurts my heart to hear that because obviously I love seeing all my friends across the season, but I truthfully feel like you're going to be in the majority on that one. Um,
Yeah.
I'm curious. I want you. I mean, you're obviously you said you're not going to come to the States. You've given up on kind of doing the bigger season this year, but if you could step out of yourself a little bit and like just a general player's perspective, how if the tour has to go on or the tour does go on, but players are like locked in hotel rooms all day. Jeff mentioned they can only be at the course 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after. Is that
Uh,
even a tour that you can imagine a lot of the players wanting to go on?
yeah, I mean, I know most of the American players really love the culture of being on
Mm-hmm.
tour and hanging out with friends and stuff. And when there's not that, it only becomes job, like
Yeah.
work. Um, yeah, I would say that a lot of those players would almost have to do it because that's their living,
Mm-hmm.
but it wouldn't be as much fun. And some players would definitely drop out.
I don't really want, I'm not here to make any sweeping claims about what my season is going to look like, but for us in the media and for a lot of the players, it's so close to making it work financially, like if you miss a few events, you're closer to that bubble of not being able to make it work. The point of doing this isn't to make a bunch of money. It is to be with our friends and to travel around the country and see all these beautiful places. Um, I just I think it's hard for the pro tour to ask a sea of uninsured people. You might not fall into that category, but most of the disc golfers don't have insurance. Spoiler. It's tough to ask them to travel across the country. You know, is You're a business owner and somebody who works in that field. Is that something that you could see the pro tour asking the players to do?
I mean, I don't know what kind of responsibility they would have on that if anything happened, but I think they can ask, but I don't know how many people are going to
Mm-hmm.
get on that because that is a very serious thing currently in the US. If you get in the hospital for corona, you're going to be, you're
Oh
going
yeah,
to, yeah, it's expensive.
yeah. It's no joke. Um, So I want to back off all this COVID stuff for a sec. I want to talk about Seppo. Okay.
Yeah,
Before the season started, we had chatted a little bit, and you mentioned that even before all this, you were going to tone down your touring in the States. Um,
yeah,
could you talk a little bit about what your plans were before that and why that was the case?
yeah. Uh, yeah, I was going to play 8 tournaments in Europe and 8 tournaments in the US. So for the last like 3 years, I played about 20 tournaments in the US. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot less. And the main reason is that I just kind of got tired of being in the States for long periods at a time, mostly because of my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I I didn't enjoy staying in the States for that long anymore, and I wanted to spend more time in Finland. And also uh, people or players are so good in Finland now that I feel like I get really good competition here, especially because I played a couple really bad tournaments in Europe last year. I really kind of wanted to be here and show people uh, how good I am and to really get better at playing in front of the home crowd.
Mm-hmm. Is that something that you felt like you had improved? Like over the summer coming into the season, is that something you felt like you had gotten back to the top, after a few maybe slumpy tournaments down the stretch last year?
Uh, you like for
Like
this season?
for this season, because at the end of last year, I think we can both admit it wasn't your strongest performance down the stretch.
Yeah.
Do you feel like coming into this year, you had gotten back to that comfortable, top line, top 10 in the world player?
Uh, if not top 10, I would say pretty close. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I could perform way better. At the end of the last year, I felt like I had to really fight my best to get that 10-15 round or
Mm-hmm.
10-20. And now, when I started the season with those 3 tournaments and I averaged about 10-15 for those 3 tournaments, I felt like I made a lot of mistakes and I could have
Mm,
been so much better. And
mm.
it's totally a different feel. It doesn't, it's not as stressful, even though it's no fun to make a lot of mistakes
Sure.
and not play your best. But it's still way nicer to know that you're able to shoot way better
Mm-hmm.
when at the end of the year, I felt like I really had to do everything I could to get that 10-15.
Yeah. It, it is like kind of a tale of two rounds, right? Because it's funny, like when you watch players, like 10-15 can seem incredible when you're watching someone, and then 10-15 can really seem sloppy depending on who you're
Yeah.
watching. Um, Off the tournaments for a sec, I want to talk about you as the media personality that you are, right? You've
Hmm.
been doing a vlog for, I believe correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you started at the end of 2018. You did it all through 2019 and then now into 2020. Is that the timeline?
Yes, and I also did about maybe 20 vlogs in like 20 from 2015 to 2017, like random.
Gotcha. Um, what has that been like now? I mean, because a lot of your vlogs were like, instructionals, or in the meat of the season, it was like instructional. It was like day at the life during this tournament. What has that been like now that there isn't so much like pro scene to kind of tie that around? What's it been like making those videos now?
It hasn't been difficult, but I wish I could get more content with Kevin and other guys.
Mm-hmm.
It would be more fun. But I have a lot of ideas. I could make a vlog out of anything, and it seems like people are coming out with all those challenges now. So that's always a good idea if you do
Mm-hmm.
one of those. And I've done a couple of them. But yeah, I mean, I would like to film more with Kevin and Matteo and those guys, but it has been pretty easy still for me to manage the content.
Well, that's great. What's been your day to day like over the last, let's say 6 weeks or 8 weeks, however it's been? I mean, for the most part, we're indoors all day. What have you
Mhm.
been like filling your time with?
I have been kind of continued my off season. I've been so after the season last year, I made a big switch where I really didn't practice anymore alone. Like I never
Mm,
practice alone anymore. I always have a coach with me. I have two coaches currently, and I also have a mental trainer.
wow, that's
And
that's awesome.
yeah, I practice every day with my coach Tapani. We go to the gym at my parents' house because we're not able to go to the public ones.
Hmm.
And then we go do field work or play around or go putt.
So, well, let me ask you, what does a disc golf coach look like? Because there's not a lot of people in the world that are better than you, and I
Mhm.
don't know that our sport has so developed that we can have like a swing coach in disc golf.
Yeah.
What does a coach look like for you?
Well, for me, the main reason is that I just want to have somebody to help me go through the workouts and all the practices because I have tried to practice by myself and it's you know you you want to go to the gym, let's say 3 to 5 times a week, but when you have to go there by yourself, it's so much easier to skip it and
Yes,
or
yes.
do a little bit less.
Hmm.
So I wanted to have somebody to help me get there and do everything 100%. So that's the main reason, and it's just so much more enjoyable, and I have
Hmm.
really started to enjoy working out and practicing. uh, he'll also help me out with the technique. He'll film it. We'll go through it. He's not as good of a thrower as I am, but he's nearly 1,000 rated.
Okay.
So that's a
Hmm.
solid disc golfer for sure. And yeah,
Do you do you find it like would it be difficult? So I'm thinking of like the NBA, the MLB, soccer. There's a lot of coaches that weren't former players, right? Is that something you could see happening in disc golf, like a legitimate disc golf or like a form coach or a mental coach or something that really was not a high level player?
yes, I think so because uh, you can have a really good understanding of the game without being one of the great yourself,
Hmm.
and you can study. And nobody really has studied disc golf
Hmm.
that much yet. We really can't say, but it's been done in other sports, so I don't think why not in disc golf.
Sure. No, I think it's really cool that you're the first person I've ever heard, to be honest with you, talk about having a coach. I know Eagle does like you mentioned a mental coach. I have heard of that. Eagle's done kind of that mental uh locking in mentally and learning how to perform under pressure.
Hmm.
Um is that something you'd like to see other players take advantage of, or maybe even like Team Prodigy having somebody who works with their whole team?
Yes, definitely. It's just something people don't think they need,
Hmm.
and I'm not saying everybody needs, but it definitely can help everybody. Even though we don't think that, I always thought I'm really strong mentally until I kind of broke down, and now I really understand that I could have really used one way before.
Hmm.
And you just get so many more points of views for your own thoughts, and you just understand things differently, even though they're so simple.
Hmm. Do you fear? Now, we're just this is us just having a conversation, right? This is just what came to mind when you were saying that. Do you fear that there could be like too many cooks in the kitchen, as we'd say? Like if you have 4 or 5 different people giving you advice, you know,
Hmm.
do you concern yourself with that at all?
Yes, definitely. I have been getting help from my dad, my mom, my brothers, and I told my mom that I can't be listening to everybody. I get even
Hmm.
messages from people, giving me tips, and my dad will send a link to this mental tip or something, and I'm just kind of blocking a lot of that, to be honest, and trying to listen to my coach currently because she is a professional. So yeah, I think that's the best thing. You can't really listen to everybody. There are so
Hmm.
many opinions and articles, and yeah.
Yeah. Man, it really is crazy. Like I really want to talk about what just happened in this last tournament that doesn't exist. It's so frustrating to have not even played. I was telling Jeff Spring, I haven't made a putt since before Waco.
Really.
Granted, I'm not a professional disc golfer. I don't really have like financial motivation to get out there and hit the putting green every time. So I haven't really been doing my practice putting, but everything is closed here in San Francisco. I went to a golf course that opened up as a public park yesterday just to throw some discs. And that's the first time I've
Yeah.
even thrown since before Waco really.
Wow.
Do you think that there's a chunk if we get the tour up and running, do you think there's a chunk of the tour that's going to be very rusty?
I think so. I think a lot of people have been training, but I think a lot of people have really slowed down too, like
Mhm.
stayed inside. And right now, it's a very good excuse to stay inside, not do anything. Uh, yeah, I think a lot of people are rusty.
Yeah, I I'm really excited slash scared for this season to get started back up again. But before we end it, I do want to have a couple things here. What's on the playlist lately? The past 7 days. Give me like the top 3 most played artists on your Spotify.
Okay. Uh, Interesting. Probably Mac Miller would be one of them.
Okay, classic.
Yeah, his new release is the Circles album.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. I like it.
Uh, um, hmm, I would say, okay, this is a duo from Finland, Cavalin and Shorty.
Okay, are we living still in the hip hop world?
Yeah, hip hop, kind of the new wave,
Okay.
auto tune.
Oh, yeah, with the what do they call it? SoundCloud rap and all that good stuff.
Sound, yeah, but very melodic and very versatile.
Okay.
All kinds of, yeah. And
And give me
then
one more, new hotness.
okay, Melo from Finland, Melo.
Ooh.
He is one of my favorites at the moment, and he, yeah, he doesn't care about any rules in music. And
I like
okay,
it.
I have to give one more, Lil
Hit me.
Uzi Vert. Lil
Oh
Uzi
my,
Vert.
how did I know? How did I forget you were going to say that? Okay, good, good,
Yeah,
good.
the new album, Eternal Take. I like that.
What about didn't Lil Baby, isn't he have a new album that came out?
I don't listen to Lil Baby. I mean, he has some good songs, but it's not really at my alley.
Okay, okay, I feel you. I know Ricky Wysocki was losing his mind out in Waco the last week, like all about it. Um,
Nice.
well, Seppo, shoot, man, I've really appreciate your time coming on. Seriously, this is like
Hmm.
a weird world we're living on. I'm just kind of getting my Zoom studio in the house set up so I can do some of these mobily.
Hmm.
But is there anything you would like to say? Anything like you want to get off your chest? Anything for the fans out there, like rooting for you?
Well, I actually got a new signature disc come out yesterday. My PA1. Everybody
Hmm.
knows I like the PA1, but it's now in 500 plastic. It's a little
Ooh.
bit firmer than the 400 plastic, so I'm excited for that. Flies the same as the King of the Forest, and I also have another stamp on the 500 PA1 coming out pretty soon. which is awesome. So stay tuned for that. And also check out my vlog every Thursday.
Hmm.
Yesterday it came on, or a couple days ago it came on Wednesday because we had a holiday yesterday.
Oh,
So came out Wednesday, but every Thursday, my blog, go check it out on Prodigy Disc YouTube.
beautiful. Well, hey, again, thank you so much for your time. I'm gonna go back and look at the latest vlog. I didn't notice it came out yet. Granted,
Hmm.
it's just now Friday morning here, so what time is it over there? It's Friday morning at like 10 here.
It's 7:40
In the evening?
in the evening. Yeah,
The world is weird, man.
it is. It's crazy.
Again, thanks for your time, though. I'm going to wrap this up. Folks, appreciate you checking out the interview. If you'd like more coverage of all things disc golf, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out a little bit after that interview. Got the home studio all set up and going now, so that means a lot more content coming to you during this quarantine off-season 2.0. I'd like to plug my Patreon, patreon.com/JohnnyDiscGolf. Probably the best way that all you fans and viewers can stay engaged. Other than that, I'd like to thank a few sponsors. OTB, Disc Golf Pins, Jeff Faze of Jeff Faze Designs hooked it up with a few awesome stickers. Love his work. He's been doing a lot of the visual stuff for me. Other than that, thank you to the viewers. I've been doing disc golf for about 3 years full time now, and while this break is putting a lot of question marks on what the future might hold, I'm always confident that I've got a sea of fans and so many people out there across the world rooting me on and just enjoying my content. So, again, thank you so much and can't wait to do more.